The battle is always won in the trenches, and we're going to talk about exactly what West Virginia brings.
It's Vader time. Okay.
Big Van Vader has nothing to do with this.
He's a hog molly, though.
He's a hog molly. Maybe you could have played. We're talking about the offensive line. We have dubbed them Grier's guards. I am Brandon. That is, I also hate Pitt of the Raspy Voice Kids.
And I'm Jeremy, J.N. Fiend.
You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever it is you want to be. That's where we are. So, the linchpin, in my opinion, and what most people will tell you is nothing matters if you can't win the game in the trenches. You can be faster, you can be smarter, you can have a great scheme, but if you can't win at the offensive line or the defensive line, at the point of attack, you've got no chance.
National championships are won in the trenches.
So, where does that put WVU?
That's a good question. I feel like I always say that.
It's always the same.
I always leave it at that.
It's always a good question.
Sorry.
And that's fine. We want it to be a good question. I'm glad you feel that way.
I feel like it's my stall tactic. That's a good question.
Well, the thing is, why don't we go through who the projected starters are?
Look at them.
Because we got the projected starters in the spring. Then there was a depth chart that was leaked about a month ago, and then it disappeared from the internet. But this is what we have. We've got Yadnik Adjust. Now, you might remember, he was supposed to be a starter as a redshirt sophomore last year. Tore his knee up very early in the season. I think it was the first game.
Yeah. No, I don't know if it's first game. Yeah.
He tore his knee up very early. We lost him for the season. He's back. He's
NFL
healthy.
talent. For sure, NFL talent.
Joe Wickline, who is the offensive line coach, his belief is that he is a first-round pick, which mirrors what Russell Shell said about him, that he's a first-round pick.
And I said it before, either one of them, that
yeah.
I thought this dude was the truth.
From jump, J.N. Fiend said that he believed strongly that Yadnik Adjust was a first-round draft pick, without question. Just looking at his size, looking at his length, looking at his physical talent, that has nothing to do with technique because there's a lot they're scouting that we don't know.
Yeah, no, it's over my head.
But the thing with him is he's a redshirt junior, and you'll notice this will be a theme. Kyle Bosch at left guard, he is a redshirt senior. Of all of the offensive linemen, he has the most starts. He's the transfer from Michigan. He has also been named to the preseason Outland Trophy watch list. So, another man who's mentioned for a major award.
Redshirt and, years up, like we have some experience there on that left side of the line.
Matt Jones. Who?
Back then, they didn't know me. I'm Matt Jones.
Who? Anyway, Matt Jones, redshirt sophomore. He is going to be our center. He's replacing Tyler Orlowski. Very big shoes to fill in that case. Dana Holkerson said, Tyler who? When talking about how well he's been playing.
He was joking a little bit, but you know what?
He might have been joking, but the key is there is confidence in our center position. Again, at right guard, Grant Lingenfelter, redshirt senior. Right tackle, Colt McKivitz, redshirt sophomore.
So we have experience on this line.
Every single one of the linemen I mentioned to you were redshirts. Programs want to be able to redshirt their offensive linemen because it gives you an advantage in being able to build strength and endurance and toughness.
And you've been in that system, and the thing is, you have to learn where your brothers are and learn how each other play. So with them being in that same system and them being together, they call it gelling. You feel like they've learned to gel a little bit more than what if they were younger.
Yeah, that's what I love is what you just said is. A lot of people talk about talent, and talent is super important. But on the offensive line, more than anything, cohesion. You have to be able to work as a unit.
Because when the blitz is coming from different angles, this linebacker shooting off this side or somebody's coming straight up the middle, you have to be able to communicate with your brothers and figure out who has what and be on the same page or the quarterback's getting hit.
That's right, and it doesn't matter. It's like in basketball. Some people like to switch on screens. Some people like to go underneath screens.
Yep.
One is not better than the other depending on what you're playing against, but you need to know what your partner is going to do, what your teammate's going to do, and that's the kind of thing that the offensive line...
If it's a pick and roll, if your guy likes to pick and roll, know where to feed him. If he likes to pick and pop, you set the screen, he kicks back out for the jump shot. The point is, your teammate.
And you have to know your teammate, otherwise none of it works. And so that's the thing that is concerning for me. We've got tons of talent. We've got experience, even though a lot of these guys weren't starters. We essentially have 4 new projected starters on this offensive line. The question for me is playing together. So if you look at it, Yadnik Adjust, he's had 7 career starts. Bosch has the most at 29, 26 of those being at WVU, with the other 3 being at Michigan. Then with Matt Jones, he has 0 career starts. Now, at center, that is a concern. But
The thing
He saw plenty of game action last year. With Grant Ligenfelter, let me finish this real quick. With Grant, he's got 0 starts, but again, he played in 22 games. So we'll finish up with Colton McKivitz, 10 career starts. He played in all 13 games last year. So what we're looking at are guys who, with Kyle Bosch, tons of experience. We're not worried about him as far as in-game experience. Yadny with 7 starts, tons of talent, hasn't played a ton, to be honest. A lot of it due to injury.
Yeah.
The guys who didn't start played. It's very similar to what we talked about on defense when we talked about Tony Gibson and Gibby We Trust. Even though they didn't start, they played. So we lose starters. We don't necessarily lose all experience. This offensive line, though, playing together as a unit, that is the biggest question, in my opinion.
And it's good that we have an easy first game, so we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
I was joking.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No, I was going to make a joke also.
Oh, excuse me. Go ahead.
But it escaped me, so I'm gonna let. It's a rivalry game though. With my thought process, they're gonna be ready to go. It's the first game of the season.
Me too.
Chomping at the bit, ready to play.
I'm just saying,
and it's not just the first game of the season. It's out of conference. It's a Power 5 team, and it's Virginia Tech for a traveling trophy.
VT's D line is nasty.
Yes, we talked about Big Timmy Settle. We wanted Timmy Settle in Morgantown. He played us. He's in Virginia Tech. We need to make him pay for that. The offensive line is where that starts.
The thing is that I want to talk about Matt Jones is Matt Jones.
Who?
Don't act like you don't know the name. I hope I can say that later on.
Me too.
I really do.
I hope he's up for the Remington
Matt
Award.
Jones, look at me. I hope later on in the year we can do a whole special talk about Matt Jones.
Who?
Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me.
I hope he wins a Remington Award, right? That would be awesome.
Get him, Matty.
But what I want, what I will accept is competence.
My question is,
snap the ball and be able to make your reads, do everything that Will Grier needs you to do to make sure he's protected. And it's not just that they're Grier's guards. These are the guys who are the gatekeepers. They open the door for our running backs. We talked about Justin Crawford.
Nothing gets in or out without them.
We talked about the stable already. Justin Crawford, Martell Pettaway. We talked about Kennedy McCoy.
Yeah.
We talked about Tevin Bush. These guys are what makes all of that go. And so while they don't get the glory, while they may not be on the posters, while most people are not buying their jerseys, these guys are the reasons why you want a Mountain Grier shirt. These guys are the reason why you want to get Justin Crawford's
jersey. And when them
jersey.
guys are sitting up in New York City waiting to get their trophy or being talked about for the Heisman, the first people they're going to thank? Grier's guards.
Yep. Or mom and dad, but, close
Grier's,
second.
Okay.
Yeah.
But here's my thing about Matt Jones.
Who?
Matt Jones.
Who?
It never gets old. We can just do this all show.
Maybe it doesn't get old. Y'all can tell us later, but we enjoying it.
So Matt Jones. Holgerson had all kinds of good things to say about him. It's like, I'm forgetting about R already. My question to you is this a serious comment?
No, what's a serious comment?
Or do you feel like he was just trying to boost his confidence?
I think it's hyperbole. Because, of course, he didn't forget Tyler Orlovsky's name. And how could you be better than Tyler Orlovsky as a senior at this point in your career? I don't think that's possible. He might be ahead of him in his progression. I think what he was doing, though, like you said, is giving him confidence and also commenting to the fact that we know we have a competent center, somebody we can rely on, we can trust. And we look at the backup. There was an injury. We already had an injury. He should be back from the ACL injury early.
So here's my thing. I know we're talking about two different things. I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate that Holgerson probably was saying that. But I remember we were going to play somebody, and you were trying to gas one of our friends up.
I did gas him up. I did gas him up.
You were trying to get him motivated. Like,
Oren was gassed. He was ready to go. Okay.
You're like, yo, they called you softball. I know you the best. And we both.
He was ready though.
We both know good. Sorry, Oren.
Yeah.
We both know good and well. Anyway, so
they never said that stuff. They were nice.
So my question,
I just wanted to be ready to play.
So that was my question. Do you think that this is I don't think gassing him up?
No, I don't.
Or do you think that he really thinks that we're going to be okay in his hands?
I think Dana thinks we're going to be okay. If you listen to him, he's very optimistic, and as we've noted before, Dana does not pretend. He's always honest about what it is that we have.
I agree with you. I just wanted to ask it.
And the other thing is Kyle Bosch has been. I think they said Kyle Bosch has been taking snaps at center also. So we've got guys behind who are planning to fill those roles. The offensive line should be very solid. As mentioned, we've redshirted these guys. We're ready even for injury. We've got some depth.
Yeah,
the thing I say again, it's just a matter of playing together. There's no substitute for playing together on the offensive line.
Yeah.
That's what I'm most concerned about. If you guys have concerns, let us know. Tell us what you think about what we've said here. Essentially, though, we're done. That is the end of this chapter on Grier's guards.
All right.
All right. Quarterbacks time. We all know about Mountain Grier. If you don't know, now you know. Mountain Grier, Will Grier. That is creme de la creme. Possibly the best quarterback we've had in what? The last...
I'm about to knight him before the first game. Sir William Grier.
Ooh, I like that. We're very excited about Will the Thrill. We can't wait to see him get here. We know about him being Gatorade Player of the Year. We know that he set all kinds of records when he played at North Carolina. We know about the game where he threw for like 800 yards in high school. He had like a 145 QB rating when he was at Florida.
It's crazy.
6-0 there. He only threw one pick in his last 115 attempts at Florida, but it's been 694 days since he's played a game.
Yeah.
I'm Brandon. This is Jeremy. I also hate Pitt at Jay and Fiend. We're going to talk about not just Mountain Grier, but all of the quarterbacks at West Virginia University that we're going to be seeing this fall, or at the very least, are going to be helping us prepare and are going to be ready in case we need them. So we talked about Will. You've heard us on our show.
Sir William.
Sir William. We had an episode about Mountain Grier. We talked about our excitement with him and Spavital on the offense. You can find that on iTunes. You can find that maybe not on SoundCloud anymore, but definitely on iTunes still. Google Play. If you want to hear that, you want to hear what we have to say, you can hear more about that. We're excited because he can run the ball as well as throw it. Primarily a passer, he is not looking to run, but he has that ability. If the pocket collapses, if that option
breaks down,
he can do that. He's a threat. And the precision, something that I did not appreciate when I was younger. I did not appreciate precision from a quarterback. It changes the yards after catch. Yards after catch.
That's what it does.
It really makes a difference from the play calling perspective, but it also puts pressure on a defense. And it also breaks morale. It really breaks you down when you think you've got a guy stopped, but the ball's threaded just perfectly and they're able to get 5, 10, 15 extra yards and a first down instead of it being third down. That's what we're looking forward to. We have receivers we talked about recently in our Throw It Up You episode. So we cannot wait to see Will Grier.
We have the weapons. We're ready to go.
So what do we do if Will Grier gets injured?
That's the $1 million question. Like, we're talking about the quarterbacks. Like you said, you set it all up. Total faith in Will Grier. But what happens? What happens if the worst happens?
Well, we have Chris Chugunov. He's our backup.
Chugs.
You saw him last year. He came in early. He was not spectacular. However, what I like about him is he seems to have a bit of a Brett Favre in him. He's not afraid. He's a gunslinger. He gets in the game, he's going to chuck that ball. He's got full confidence. I like that in a quarterback. It's not the most important thing. It's not the only thing, but I do like that in a quarterback.
I do like that in a quarterback, but I don't know. If your defense is good enough, sometimes you want the Chuck Dilfer type. You don't want the Brett Favre. You want the Trent Dilfer.
No, I
throw the ball. Don't throw the ball in the other team's hands, and don't fumble. Don't turn the ball over.
But I think with maturation, he has that ability to do that. I'm just saying confidence-wise. I should have been more clear, confidence-wise. Especially with our running game. We talked about that in our episode about the stable. We don't need a quarterback to go out there and be a gunslinger unless you're Will Grier.
Yeah.
So with injury, we could be protected because we have a good offensive line potentially, and we have an excellent running back stable. Behind Chugs, we've got Cody Saunders. Behind him, we have a walk-on Jake Boutel. Cool thing about Jake, Mike Casaza talked about this. I didn't know this until he said this. It was on Ear Sports. He talked about this. The fact that Boutel actually had a collapsed lung in high school and only missed 2 games.
You let me hear that, yeah.
Now, what describes a Mountaineer more than a guy who has a collapsed lung? That is, his lung deflated completely, meaning he only had 1 left to breathe, and he only missed 2 games. So walk on or not, as Casaza said, we may not hear from him again, but we're not going to forget that story.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing about having these quarterbacks, Chugunov, Saunders, Boutel, and also having David Israel, who is at camp, already there for fall camp, is that we've got guys that can get reps. Casaza talked about that as well. Casaza, of course, we know Mike Casaza, legendary beat writer for West Virginia University, or not for West Virginia University, but covering West Virginia University, now with 24/7 and CBS. He talked about why it's so important to have so many quarterbacks in the fold, so many quarterbacks back there, on scholarship, including the walk-on also. The idea is that now when you're running practice, when you're running camp, you can get the offensive line in sync.
Yeah.
You can get more. You can get reps. You can get reps for the offensive line. You can get reps for the receivers. That's something I hadn't thought about much, but it makes so much sense.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
And that's what we need, especially for an offensive line, as we talked about in our preceding episode. The offensive line, they're talented. Some of them have experience, but as a unit, they have not played together as much as we would like. So having these quarterbacks, getting them ready is great. The same thing with our receivers. We have a lot of depth. We've got some freshmen coming in that look to contribute. The more quarterbacks you have to get that ball out to them, the more you can do as far as practicing and preparing for the season that's coming up.
Yeah, no, I love that. But the truth is with Chugs, I just haven't seen enough. So, like, my jury's still out. Like, I watched him a little bit in game, and you saw him in the spring game, and I wasn't disappointed, but I also wasn't impressed by him. I know that he keeps learning, you know, with every game, and it seems like, you know, they have confidence in him being in the backup quarterback, and that's the thing. So if the worst happens and Sir William goes down, that's my thing. Is Chuck's gonna be able to step in and handle the reins? And I feel like he has enough years under his belt. He's been here how many years?
This will be third year.
He has a great enough running game, which you kind of said, to help him out. Great offensive line.
Yeah, the pressure won't be all on him.
I don't know if we're going to go 10-2, but I feel like we can have a very positive year even under Chugs.
Well, one of the things that's interesting to me is the development of the quarterbacks under the tutelage of Jake Spavital. Well, I mean, you see what Jake did with Geno and with some other quarterbacks. Will it make a difference having Jake there to guide and to train and to help them as they grow and mature? Because Chugginoff's been there the entire time now. Excuse me, that's the Miller Lite. But anyway, he's been there with Spavital coming in the spring, all through the summer, and now we've got fall camp. So we could see from there. So that's what we're looking forward to. That's what we're looking at with our signal callers. Because no matter who they are, if they're under the center or in the shotgun, they are the signal caller. And whether they're ready or not, they're going to be responsible for what happens on that offense. Even if it's just turning and handing it to Crawford, McCoy, Pettaway, Wellman, Bush.
Yep.
So we are excited just like you guys are. There's lots of enthusiasm. And if you listen to Dana talk, he is not tempering it at all.
No, I love it. That's my favorite thing about Dana. Like, you listen to him talk, he has this swag and he has this confidence. He has this look. Look at Dana when he talks in interviews. Look at Dana he can't hold his smile in.
He's trying to. If you're like me and you try not to drink the Kool-Aid every summer about WVU football, it's getting really hard. It's getting really hard. I was talking to the dude of West Virginia, Christopher Lambert, today, and man, he was making it even worse. Herd hater, of course, is never a person that you want to talk to if you don't want to think we're going undefeated every single season. Just like Jay and Fiend, always a Mountaineer. These guys never ever believe that anyone can beat us until the games actually start and the games have actually finished. I try to be more balanced and reasonable and assess our team appropriately, or reasonably, I should say, and it's getting harder and harder. There's so much talent. Even at quarterback, we have so much talent. Very excited to see what we have. Jack Allison. We didn't talk about Jack Allison. Jack Allison's at camp. Of course, he's not going to play this year. He's got to sit out from being a transfer.
That's what I was going to say. Is Jack Allison, because I thought he was at camp.
But again, Jack Allison can be there to get reps.
Have you seen him throw the ball?
Rocket. He's got a rocket.
No, it's not just a rocket. Like, Michael Vick had a rocket.
Yes, he did.
When Jack Allison throws a ball, it's almost like it's poetic. It's art. It's not poetic. It's art. Like, the ball zips, but it kind of, I don't know. It has like this little trajectory and drops. Like, it's just so pretty. It just feels like there's so many. I don't know. I feel like, okay, it's like eating a steak. Some people can eat a steak with salt and pepper. Just put salt and pepper and it's good, right?
Yeah.
You can cook it great on the grill and it's good. That's the Michael Vick. Salt and pepper is good. It's manly. It's wonderful. And then some people like marinate it and then, sit it in the refrigerator all night and bring it out. And you can eat that same steak. And when you take a bite, it just, I don't know, it dazzles you with all the flavors in that one bite.
He's just saying it's seasoned. He's saying it's pretty.
I'm saying, when Jack Allison drops back and throws that ball, it's artistic.
Well, the thing is, we're not going to get to see what Jack does this year. But it's not going to,
YouTube him, please.
We can YouTube him.
I watched 10 seconds of it, and I picked up the phone and
but
called him.
But the positive, the biggest positive at this moment is in camp. He can help get the troops ready, receivers ready, offensive line ready. He's going to be able to get our scout teams ready.
Yeah. Yep.
David Israel as well. Cody Saunders as well. Bootel as well. So that's what we're really excited about with these signal callers. I'm sure you guys have the same kind of enthusiasm, the same kind of anticipation that we have. Everybody's excited. Say, let's go Mountaineers. Let me hear it. All right. That's it. We'll talk to you guys next segment. Thanks for listening and watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Check the links in the description for all our other media outlets.
And no matter what you do, no matter what you heard, no matter what we said, don't forget, we also hate Pitt.